Alright, so today I'm going to be tying a slightly embellished version of a soft hackle fly that I like to tie. I have a video where I tied a brown soft hackle. This simplified version is what I like to tie on like size 12 and smaller. I'll tie this slightly more elaborate version on a size 10 or bigger. So, and same with my simplified soft hackle. Well, it's actually not mine. This is these are patterns that I've seen on forums and reports, so I won't take any credit for them, but I'll show you how to tie them. I tie this one in a black as well, the simplified version. So I do the same here with the slightly embellished version. So I'll show you the black right now, and then I'll tie a brown so that you can see them both. For this black, basically for the tail, I use this black soft hackle hen patch, and I use that for the tail and the hackle, and then for the body I'll use this black dyed pheasant tail, and then for the ribbing I actually use a if I can find it, I use a medium black wire, ultra wire by UTC. And then on the thorax there I use a ice dub peacock. This is slightly darker than what I use on the brown pattern, so so that's basically the fly in black. So now I'll get to tying it in brown. So I'm just going to start out with my size 10 Gamakatsu, and that is this hook right here, and that's just a down eye, pretty fine wire. You'll find that's kind of a theme with me. I feel like the finer wire just has a better hookup rate. And then here's the thread. I'm going to be using just a rusty brown UTC 140. So we'll take and we'll wrap that back to the barb of the hook. Trim away our excess here. Alright, so for my tail I'm going to use that brown soft hackle. I don't know, probably about a dozen fibers. Just strip those off. Grab those, and then you're going to measure it against the shank of the hook. You want about the length of the shank. And if your fibers are long, just trim them off right behind the hook eye or a little bit farther back. It doesn't matter if they kind of wrap around the hook shank as you go. But then wrap back to about 2/3 of the hook shank. And then you can catch in your wire here. This is just UTC. This is a fine ultra wire. And just catch that in and keep it on the top of the hook shank. Alright, so for my body I got just a golden pheasant tail here. And you can take, I don't know, half a dozen to eight fibers, then just strip those right off. And then to make these easy to tie in, just tie it in here towards the fat end, just a single loose wrap, and then pull those back to the tips. And then just cinch down those tips good. And then you're going to want to go up to about that, you're going to want this tail to be about 2/3 of the length of the body. And then one thing when I'm tying in pheasant tail, I like to counter wrap, so whatever way you want to wrap your wire with the thread, but you always want your wire wound opposite of the pheasant tail so that it kind of gives some durability to the fly. So I'm going to actually wrap against how I'd wrap the thread, or opposite rather, how I'd wrap the thread, and just wrap that forward. Alright, and then just one wrap over the top, a wrap in front, over top again, in front, and that's pretty much caught in your fibers. So you can go ahead and trim the waist there. And just really quick you can cinch down those fibers. Alright, and now in the same direction as you wrap your thread, you can put in your wire, and basically anything that you tie in with the way you're wrapping your thread, it's easier to cinch down real tight. So that's why I always like to do this with wire. It just prevents any slack from your wire when you tie it in. Alright, so go up to the top here, and then just grab the wire with your thread. I'll see if I can show you how I do this. And then put a 90-degree bend in, and then tie that in. This really helps secure it down. And then if you hold your thread and you wiggle your wire, it should eventually it'll break off here, and you're left with a really really clean break. It kind of helps prevent a little bump on the top there. Alright. So the next thing we want to do is make our dubbed thorax, and then this is just a ice dub peacock. It's a little lighter than this other one that I have, so I guess it's just luck of the draw. They're same company, just this one's slightly lighter. The darker would work, but I just like the lighter for this pattern. Alright, so we'll throw our dubbing on here. This stuff can sometimes be a little finicky getting it onto the thread, but if you just try to put on little amounts at a time, it should work for you. So we just want to dub a nice little ball for the thorax, and just bring back any fibers that aren't working for you. And you really only need about 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters in back of the hook eye to tie on your hackle and make your head. So I'm going to use that same brown hen soft hackle, and for the hackle part here in front, and then you just want to strip away the fluff and leave a bare quill there, and then go ahead and clip it nice and short. You don't need much to secure that in. Alright, so let's catch that in. Alright, and then because these are such short feathers, I like to bust out the hackle pliers, and really all you need is 2 or 3 wraps. And kind of stroke back the fibers as you go. Otherwise you're gonna stroke them back once you get done with it anyways, and lash it down with thread so that they kind of point backwards. So 3 is about all I need. So we'll just kind of catch that in. Maybe take another wrap here, and then hold your thread just like you did with the wire. Just give a couple of shakes, and that'll break right off for you. Stroke back any fibers that are pointing forward, and then build up your head. Alright. Make sure they're kind of going to lay the way you want them. And just grab your whip finish tool. Go straight into your whip finish. Three to four is all you need. Cinch it down. Trim off the excess. And put just a little bit of head cement on there. It's probably just a little bit too much. I caught some of my hackle fibers here on the other side, but that's alright. And then any of these that are pointing forward, if they're really bugging you, you can go ahead and just break them off. Otherwise, once this fly gets in the water, they really sweep back. And what you're looking for length on these is just so that they go back to about where the tail starts. So if they get a little bit longer or shorter, that's okay. But that's basically the fly. So I like to just throw this. If maybe the water's a little bit stained or muddy after a big rain, I like to go with this one just because it's got a little bit of flash to it with that with the copper wire and the and the dubbed thorax there with the peacock ice dubbing. This one will work when it's a little bit clearer, when you want to throw a smaller fly. But again, these stay pretty simple, so they're a fairly quick tie, which is pretty important when you're steelheading because you're trying to keep your flies down as close to the rocks as possible. But a good video to watch with this would be the one for the simplified version. I explain a couple of other things about this fly, and they're both pretty similar. So hope you enjoy this pattern. I hope it catches you some fish.